Okay, good morning, everyone. I think we had a very, very successful day yesterday. I want to thank everybody for their constant interest in the dynamic of computer communication that we talked through yesterday. I want to thank Needham and Jeffrey for their hard work yesterday and getting ready for that. Much of this has been the four of us coming together with a plan that we have now concluded a nice size award with USAID, the US government. And it is now important for us to spread out and accomplish what we've achieved here. And that computer system that we talked about yesterday with 365, to the extent that we will use Asana, but then Odoo will become the way we run the show here. So yesterday we talked about how we're going to communicate. Today we're going to talk about what we're going to communicate. I'm going to do the flipping and Alex is going to do the talking.
Good morning, everyone. I'm thrilled to met all of you. Thank you, Rob, for your friendship first and putting us together. Legendary Steve, the wordsmith of our team in the beginning, our European gentleman, Richard Ringles, and outside every one of you very, very welcome. Well, the importance of Afghan carpets, the embargo being on Iran and the other countries exiting, Afghanistan having been labor force and tradition, it opens up a very good opportunity for Afghan people. And you know, maybe one day you get frustrated, you get tired, you gotta think, I'm going to take you to the villages of Afghanistan through the video, so maybe you can feel better to think about, you know, each one of you will be helping some villagers. You know, the carpet production in Afghanistan is not a factory-based production, it's rather the villages. Most of the rugs I get made are made right under the nose of Taliban-controlled areas. I've had 5 rugs, 5 homes, villages burned down, and I have to inform my customers that the rugs were burned down, that kind of situation. But it works because we use the best quality wool, best quality of workmanship, and vegetable dyes. And Afghanistan doesn't have a variety of knotting techniques. We only have 2 ethnic groups making 2 different kind of knotting. Hazaras is also known Turkish knots, right? Turkish knots, and the Turkmens using double knot. I'll display that. I think part of my attempt today is to equip Richard so he can take the prices and samples to the European market. It's a labor of love that other countries, you know, anyone could do anything to make a living in China or India. That's why they are exiting. So that opens up an opportunity for Afghan people. That's all. Well, I talked about that, so let's go to the video. Okay. It starts from selection of yarn and.
Can I ask a really technical question? So I see the vertical parts of the loom. See the vertical parts of the loom. Where's the horizontal lock that keeps?
The horizontal one was the wooden one. These are the new thing.
In between each row of knots, there's a thing called a weft thread, which goes horizontally across and is banged down.
Okay,
and
they're doing that.
Another row of knots
between
goes in,
okay.
and then another
So
weft
that's what's
thread.
locking the knots.
Exactly.
Down.
So you end up with a grid like this with the knots tied on warp threads, which are the long threads going up.
Okay, and then they weave that through each weft thread.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so every week, I'm sorry interrupting Alex, but when you've got a large piece where you have a number of weavers sitting side by side, they all have to put in one row of knots before they can carry on, because after they all put one row in, then the weft thread goes in, and then they all put in another row.
Yeah, among these photographs, this is probably the best one. You can see a bit of the way up, you might be able to see it, there's a bar. That bar, they will pull it and it opens and closes the shed. It's a very simple loom. Just put a weft in this way, tie a row of knots, turn it that way, put a row in, turn it that way, put a row in, and each time you put a row of the weft in, you're tying a row of knots, so you're locking.
It's a heddle, right?
The heddle.
The head-
Pulling,
okay.
pulling the heddle. No, it's not only women that weave. In Afghanistan, many men and boys weave. And you will see that this loom here would have had, there's 2 right now, but they'd had 4 people weaving here.
Yeah.
Everybody weaves about, they decide, they balance it over time, but about a meter
Yeah.
in front of them.
But they're weaving one row at a time, though.
One row at a
Yeah.
time, then they join the rows.
But one of them, or the lead weaver, what he does is he put the knots where the map changes, like,
Yeah.
and then the rest of them, the
Oh, they
more
weave in
junior
there.
one,
Fill
Phil
in.
was
okay.
those background, but the one of them will put one knot.
The marker.
and then- Yeah, the markers, and then the rest of them will fill it.
When it comes to mistakes, of course mistakes are made. When did you realize there was a mistake and how did you fix it and what stage?
Well, if it is a great mistake that is causing rejection, certain knots could be pulled out and repiled again. But that's a painstaking type of work to do that. Many things could be fixed in finishing, and if it is a blocking issue, not
A
square.
shade of beige, and he wanted something with just a little bit more yellow in it. So what they went through is one by one, they undid all of the knots across, thousands and thousands of knots. But the rug was so valuable that they couldn't just throw away this carpet. And there wasn't much of a market for a big carpet like that, except for the person who had ordered it. So it took however many days it did to undo all the knots that was there and retie knots with a shade that was just the tiniest bit
The
different.
concept to consider for the project is to house equipment unit within the
Yeah.
project that is then leased out as needed.
That's a great idea.
So we invested through the capital provided to the project. Instead of the loans, a partial goes to equipment that's housed, and then certain traders qualify for leasing it out while the project's being made.
Yeah.
And what that does is it cuts the cost, that the burden is not on them. Essentially leasing it becomes part of cost of goods sold as opposed to an asset that they have to buy. So then you can use it, and if someone else doesn't need it, you shift it somewhere else. That's a improvement in the.
That's a wonderful idea, and it really highlights an opportunity that frankly I hadn't even thought of, because we would benefit the industry if we could help them lower their costs and
Right.
keep the price where it is.
Right. So margins.
In Afghanistan is the lack of good washing facilities.
Yeah.
And I think in the context of any project aid, I think almost in ahead of a sharing machine like that, I think the investment in washing facilities would benefit everybody.
So we looked at one a few years back, and the big limitation was this chemical restriction, and one was the expiration date, and we knew it would get stuck at the border, which means the washing machine.
I had that exact experience with the first shipment of chemicals that we imported into Afghanistan from Turkey, and the Pakistanis just sat on the shipment for about a month,
Knowing that
what it was and where it was going. But it's obviously it's a problem, but it shouldn't be a problem which completely stops any real development in the washing
I'm
process.
not sure if air freight is a
Steve, you may
possibility.
know that because USAID have put a lot of money on ASMIT, other projects on the processing facilities. Like they did that in Herat and Kabul so many times that
Right.
it wasn't successful. And what could have been the reason for that?
One of the problems too is water. USAID in its ASMIT program did set up a washing facility in Jalalabad area, largely because the availability of abundant